The story you are about to hear is a compilation of documented true facts featuring historical characters, events, or places that has played a role in shaping history. Please sit back and listen as I recite this narrative for you. Mary Flora Bell was an 11-year-old monster who caused a sensation in 1968 when she killed two small boys in Newcastle. Mary Bell was born 26th of May 1957 to Betty Bell, a 17-year-old prostitute who was mentally unstable and later married Billy Bell, an armed robber and career criminal. Mary was raised in the depressed area of Scotswood and had a reputation for theft, vandalism, and attacking other children. Though Betty Bell would eventually wed the baby's father, marriage did not guarantee a stable home. Mary's father was frequently out of work, occasionally in trouble with the law. Betty, for her part, frequently left her daughter with relatives or acquaintances, once giving the child to a woman she met on the street outside an abortion clinic. The Bell home in Newcastle, England, was filthy and sparsely furnished. Multiple family members and witnesses recall her mother attempting to murder her at only 2 or 3 years old, whether it be accidentally by throwing her out a window or giving her an excessive amount of pills or choking her. There were several murder attempts against Bell at a young age, not to mention the fact that Bell's mother offered her up to some of her clients, and as nearly as age 4 was being sexually assaulted by this man. Bell grew up in Scotswood area of Newcastle, an economically depressed area where domestic violence and criminal behavior was commonplace. As a result, her previous crimes, including attacks on other children at school, vandalism, and theft, did not attract undue attention. Also, she had developed a reputation as a show-off, so her proclamation, "I am a murderer," was dismissed as just another one of her idle boasts. At school, Mary became known as a chronic liar and disruptive pupil. On occasion, she voiced her desire to hurt people. The cruel urge surfaced on May 11, 1968, when Mary and Norma Bell, no relation, were playing with a 3-year-old boy on top of a Newcastle air raid shelter. The boy fell and was severely injured, but the incident was written off as accidental. On May 12, the mothers of 3 young girls informed police that Mary had attacked and choked their children. She was interviewed and lectured by authorities, but no juvenile charges were filed. On May 25, 2 boys playing in an old abandoned house found the corpse of 4-year-old Martin Brown lying in an upstairs room. Mary and Norma Bell had followed the boys inside and had to be ordered out when police arrived. With no obvious cause of death, it was assumed that Martin Brown had swallowed pills from a discarded bottle found nearby. On May 26, Norma Bell's father caught Mary choking his 11-year-old daughter. He slapped her face and sent her home. Later that day, a local nursery school was vandalized. Police discovered notes that read, "Fuck off, we murder, watch out Fanny and faggot," and "We did murder Martin Brown, fuck off you bastard." 4 days later, Mary Bell appeared at the Brown residence asking to see Martin. Reminded of the tragedy, she told his grieving mother, "Oh, I know he's dead. I wanted to see him in his coffin." On May 31, a newly installed burglar alarm at the vandalized nursery school brought patrolmen rushing back to the scene, where they found Mary and Norma Bell loitering beside the building. Both girls fervently denied involvement in the previous break-in, and they were released to the custody of their parents. On July 31, 1968, Brian Howe, aged 3, was found dead on waste ground off Scottswood Road. He had been strangled and his body had numerous small cuts on it. The police launched an investigation that took in the interviewing of 1,200 children. 2 girls, Norma Joyce Bell and Mary Flora Bell, gave answers that were suspicious or evasive. Each was questioned several times and changed their stories twice. Police reports concluded that Mary Bell had later returned to his body to carve an N into his stomach with a razor. This was then changed using the same razor but with a different hand to an M. Mary Bell also used a pair of scissors to cut off some of Howe's hair, scratch his legs, and mutilate his penis. A medical examiner suggested that the killer might have had been a child, since relatively little force was used. Detectives started circulating questionnaires among the local children, asking suspects to account for their movements at the time of Brian's death. Answers from Mary and Norma Bell were inconsistent, and both girls were brought in for questioning. While Mary claimed that she had seen an older boy abusing Brian, Norma soon broke down and told of watching Mary kill the boy. Eventually, each accused the other of squeezing Brian Howe's throat, and Mary accused Norma of making the cuts on his body with a razor blade. Both girls were arrested on August 5, 1968, and when charged with murder, Mary replied, "That's all right by me." At trial in December 1968, Norma was acquitted of all charges, while Mary Bell was convicted on 2 counts of manslaughter. Mary was, because of diminished responsibility, found guilty of manslaughter and sentenced to life imprisonment. After spending 8 years in Young Offenders Institute, Mary Bell was transferred to Moore Court Open Prison, from where she escaped with 2 boys in 1977. They were at large for only 2 days. In 1980, Bell, then aged 23, was released from Ascombe Grange Open Prison, having served 12 years. She was granted anonymity, including a new name, to start a new life with her daughter, who was born on May 25, 1984. Bell's daughter did not know of her mother's past until Bell's location was discovered by reporters, and she and her mother had to leave their house with bedsheets over their heads. Bell's daughter's anonymity was originally protected until she reached the age of 18. However, on May 21, 2003, Bell won a high court battle to have her own anonymity and that of her daughter extended for life. Any court order permanently protecting the identity of someone is consequently known as Mary Bell Order. In 2009, it was reported that Bell had become a grandmother. Amardeep Sada, also known as Amardeep Sada, is the world's youngest serial killer and one of the world's creepiest children. He was an 8-year-old boy described as India's youngest serial killer after he was charged with the murder of 3 children, including his sister, who were all less than 1 year old. Becoming the youngest serial killer in the world at the age of 8 was stunning enough on its own. However, Sada's action in connection with the discovery of his murder exacerbated the situation. Some of the details about the case remain shrouded in mystery due to his young age and the location of his crimes. Amardeep Sada, the son of an impoverished Indian couple, was accused of the murder of a 6-month-old girl, Khushbu, who he is alleged to have abducted, and 2 other children. Khushbu's mother, Chunchun Devi, said she had left her daughter to sleep at her village primary school while she attended to household chores and returned to find she had disappeared. When villagers confronted Sada, he is alleged to have confessed to the murder, leading them to the place where he had attempted to conceal the body in a shallow grave, local reports said. After his arrest, police said the boy had then confessed to the murder of his 8-month-old sister 3 months ago and his 6-month-old cousin, the daughter of a maternal uncle, almost a year ago. The earlier 2 killings went unreported. However, Amardeep's crime could not be pushed under the carpet this time, since his latest victim was not a family member but lived in his neighborhood in Musahari village under the Bagwanpur police station. Sada started killing approximately 1 year before he was finally turned over to authorities. In other words, he was only 7 when the murders began. During a 1-year time frame, he killed at least 3 times. All of his victims were babies from the local village, with the oldest being his 8-month-old sister. It's unknown why he targeted babies, but it seems that it was due to their small size and inability to defend themselves. Superintendent Amit Lodha from the town of Begusarai, 90 miles east of the Bihari capital Patna, said the boy appeared to be a psychiatric case and was now being evaluated by professionals. An uncle of Sada's told local media that the earlier 2 killings had been known to the family and some villagers, but had not been reported since it was considered a family matter. It is said that the parental instinct that makes mothers and fathers want to protect their children is very real. Unfortunately, that's exactly what happened because the Sadas believed the killings were a family matter. As a result, a 3rd baby lost her life. Inspector Shatrudhan Kumar of Bihar Police said that all the killings had been carried out in identical manner. He said he took the children to the fields and hit them with a stone and killed them. He has been charged with murder, he added. Asked about the boy's mental condition, police said that when questioned, Sada just smiled a lot and asked for biscuits. Sada's odd request during police questioning is a prime indicator that he didn't take the murder seriously. When asked why he killed 3 babies, Sada smiled and asked for biscuits. In India, biscuits and cookies are very closely related. In other words, he wanted a sweet treat while recounting his murder spree. When local villagers began asking questions, he was reportedly happy to admit to the murders. He even led villagers to the scene of his last crime and helped them recover the body. Sada provided graphic details about his 3rd killing, saying, "She was sleeping in the school. I took her a little away and killed her with a stone and buried her." Local police found his words to be true, as they discovered the body of 6-month-old Khushbu in a shallow grave that Sada had shown them. A quick look at the corpse confirmed what the young boy had said. He had taken a brick to the baby's head and bashed her skull in until she died. This horrifying and odd case attracted attention from the media and psychologists. Shamsad Hussain, a psychoanalyst, told reporters that Sada was likely a sadist who found injuring others pleasurable. Another member of the psychology field pointed out that Sada didn't appear to have any concept of right and wrong. Eventually, the young serial killer was diagnosed with a conduct disorder. It is believed that this chemical imbalance can be successfully treated with medication. Indian law prevented Sada from facing any lifelong legal consequences. In fact, the absolute longest sentence the young serial killer could face was 3 years in a juvenile facility. Understandably, there were many questions about Sada's mental state. Information regarding his conviction, sentencing, and any subsequent imprisonment was not publicly released. Some speculate that he spent 3 years in a psychiatric facility. As to what happened next, Amardeep Sada contacted the media in 2015 to report that he was staying in a youth home until the age of 18. Sada would have received full freedom on his 18th birthday. This happened in 2016, so he presumably left the youth home behind and started the next chapter of his life. Some reports indicate that the young man has changed his name to Samarjeet to help protect his privacy. Hey everyone! I just wanted to express how grateful I am that you took the time to listen to my narration. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I am Twisted Mind and please enjoy the rest of your day. Salamat!